Hello, boys and girls. Do you want to hear a Rinky Dinky Stinky Thinky story? Yeah, Rinky. Rinky's always praying and meditating. Thinky is the thinker. Stinky, stinking strong. And Dinky, woo! Dinky creates a lot of drama. So what kind of story do you want to hear? Oh, that story? The snowstorm story? Oh my gosh, that's a big story. Because there's a big snowstorm. How does the story begin? Yes, once upon a time. Rinky, Dinky, Stinky, and Thinky, well, they were out playing in the snow. They were going to make the biggest snowman ever. They had a big hat, a big carrot, some gloves, some sticks, and they rolled the snow into a little bit of a ball and then pushed it and got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you know what happened? They had to figure out how to get that second ball on top of the first ball. Well, that's okay, because Stinky says, I got muscles, I'll just pick it up. So I picked it up, put it on. And then you know what happened? They had to make the head of the snowman. Well, that was easy. They just all got together, and then they said, wait a minute, is he going to be a three-headed, four heads? We all got little balls that were rolling into the head. He only can have one. And then Dinky said, well, why does he have to have only one head? Let's just make our snowman have four heads. So guess what they did? They got four sticks, and they put four heads on the snowman. And then you know what happened? They decided that they would put antennas on the top of the snowman's head. Yes. So they went and they got some tinfoil and they put some antennas and they said, oh, he's funny. He looks like he's a spaceman now. Well, then you know what happened next? All of a sudden, as soon as they put the antennas on top of the snowman's head, they started to see some flashing lights. And they were like, whoa, what's the flashing lights going on? And then Dinky said, oh, maybe it's a spaceship coming. And Thinky said, really? I'd have to think about that. And Stinky said, well, that's okay. Maybe they're strong like me. And then Rinky said, well, I wonder who they are. I wonder if they're nice. And Dinky said, well, of course they're nice. They like snowmen. Of course they are. And so guess what they did? They closed their eyes and they used their imagination. You have an imagination. Do you know that you have an imagination? Yeah, it sits right here between your thinker. You know what your thinker is. It's this thing that sits between your shoulders, and then you have this imagination. They closed their eyes and they started to imagine what it would look like if a space person would come down to Earth and start playing with their snowmen. Well, Dinky said, I know exactly what I would imagine. I would imagine that we would be ice skating. And then you know what else? Dinky said, I would imagine that we would be calculating all these math problems and figuring out all these really deep, deep things to discuss. And then Rinky said, I'd imagine that maybe they would teach me how to meditate different or think differently about my feelings and my emotions. And Stinky said, well, I just hope they would be able to teach me how to just get stronger and stronger and stronger. So as they used their imagination with their new space friends, they all said, wow, this is pretty cool. We can have friends anytime we use our imagination. And Thinky said, that's a very good idea. That's a good thought. Heck, we could think up anything. We could think up, we're on a beach right now instead of in the snow. So they all closed their eyes and they said, yeah, let's think about being on a beach instead of the snow. Oh, wow, Dinky says, the snowman's melting. I'm thinking about the snowman melting. And Stinky said, oh, I'm thinking and, oh man, I'm so stinking strong riding that wave. Whoa, woo, woo, woo. And Thinky says, wow, I'm thinking about laying on the beach and I'm reading a book. And Rinky says, wow, and I'm noticing all the different people. And then you know what happened next? Stinky said, I want to imagine something. Yeah, I want to imagine. I want to imagine being in a very, very big gym that has lots of equipment that can make me really strong, like a track to run on and a pool to swim in and bicycles to ride. Oh, yes. And so they all closed their eyes and they started to imagine that. And then you know what happened next? They got called for dinner. Time to eat! Come on in! Don't drag the snow in the house! So they all ran because they were hungry after they were making the snowman and doing all that imagination stuff. And they ran in the house, took off their boots, sat at the table, and they went, wow, I found a new friend today. And Stinky said, yeah, I found a new friend too. And Dinky said, I did too. And Thinky said, yeah, me too. And they said, the friend is called the friend of imagination. And you have one too. The end.